On today's show, we have the Fee Factory. Before we start, please subscribe, like, share, and comment. You can also find us on our social media handles on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, or check out our website www.mystartuptv.in. The co-founders of the Fee Factory, Praveen Kumar Gorakavi and Dr. Meghna Reddy Jale, are joining with us. Hello, welcome on My Startup TV.
Hi. Hi, thank you for having us over.
Starting with you, can you let us know more about the Fee Factory, and also can you throw some light on your tagline, the next generation innovator?
We were kind of technology, enthusiasts and kind of freelancer scientists before starting Fee Factory, where we were more focused on developing technologies and outsourcing technologies to the companies, mostly abroad. So in 2008, my co-founder has come up with an idea saying that instead of developing a technology and outsourcing it to the foreign companies, why don't we serve the same thing to the Indian SMEs? Especially when we know a fact that the SMEs are struggling a lot with lack of availability of technology. So that's how we started this firm. And it's been 2 years. We started with a few product ideas, but we were obviously focused on first product, which is GFP, which is a kind of paper additive to be used in packaging. And it literally took all of our time for the first 2 years because it's like a massive hit instantly in the market, and we had to really concentrate on this rather than skipping away to the other products. So that's where we are. The tagline of multi-dimensional innovation platforms that most of the innovation companies would be more focused on developing technologies or developing prototypes, and then they just give it away and they don't take a responsibility of how it performs in the market. So we, on the other side, we kind of wanted to also integrate that and also take care of the product to the market and to the satisfaction of the customer. So that's where we are. That's why we call it as a multi-dimensional innovation platform.
So, can you tell us more about your journey of being an entrepreneur in the world of technology?
So after MBBS, we've been freelancer scientists for a year. So what we used to do was, when there is an industrial development problem, which we generally call IDPs, or any other open innovation, we used to look at the problems. We used to design a technology, make a prototype, and do a technology transfer. So it's completely off hands. We don't regulate how the product is being brought to the market and how many people are using it. So we don't have any kind of control on that. So this was the kind of problem we've observed with the technology transfers and being a freelance scientist. We've made 28 technologies over the past. Like Praveen had made around 24, and together we have done 4 technologies together. So in order to address this issue of regulating how this product is being into the market and how to make it available to more users, we have established and incorporated this company so that we can make affordable technologies for SMBs.
Right.
So that's the intention behind starting the Fee Factory.
We were going through your website and we came to know about the featured products like the GFP craft papers additive or the Koru Bond BCT improving glue in your organization. Can you tell us something more about it?
We all use corrugated boxes, which are the cotton boxes, right? The brown color boxes. So they are manufactured by using something called a craft paper, which is like, again, the brown craft. The brown color paper is craft paper. So we kind of developed a technology called GFP, with which we reduce the weight of a box by around 20% without losing the strength of a box. So any major company is more, focused on having a stronger box to take its goods from one place to other, but they're not really that focused on how much weight a box itself means. So we kind of, by reducing the weight of a box, we saved money for them. We saved the cargo expenses. We saved number of trees getting into the form of a paper or a box. And that's where the product has become, an environmental initiative as well as the cost-saving initiative for majority of the companies. So in the last 2 years, we commercialized, we have produced and supplied almost around 2,500 tons of paper. Yeah. And which means we saved almost 7,500 trees from getting consumed into a paper form. So just imagine 7,500 trees is like reserve forest or something. Exactly, it's a small reserve forest that we saved. So if someone is like really bothered about or worried about the Californian fires, then we have Fee Factory saving the trees on the other side.
So Ways, can you relate your work with the term sustainable development somehow?
We are actually on the verge of saving trees, and that is a direct indication of sustainable development. So you're optimizing the usage of paper, tree fibers and the paper pulp. So instead of using, generally for every ton of craft paper produced, 17 trees are cut. So instead of 17 trees, now 14 trees are being used because we're using our additive in order to increase the strength. The same amount of strength is being provided by our additive.
So yeah, we're saving 3 trees for every ton of craft paper produced.
Interestingly, there is also some math that we have done. I don't have the numbers offhand right now to share with you, but we save some, tons and tons of carbon dioxide from getting released into the air, and we have saved a lot of water from being consumed, and a lot of area of
because
land.
Paper industry is one of the most polluting industries.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's in kind of a red kind of zone in environmental impact assessment.
So likewise, we can also say that is this a kind of new innovation like you include in your laboratories, like while working in this field?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a new initiative. We have a patent filed on that, and we have multiple patents on this technology. See, the idea is
generally, actually, strength providing additives do exist in the market, but they are very expensive, and Indian SMEs cannot afford such kind of expensive products because the margins on which the paper industry operates in our country is very low. Despite having a 80 crore machinery or 120 crores machinery, the kind of profit margins these people have is hardly 5%. So you can imagine adapting a new technology or making any changes might push their profits further low. So yeah, these kind of hindrances do prevent people and SMEs from accessing new kind of technology. So we wanted to make technologies accessible and affordable so that it will be beneficial for users as well as the makers.
And also, just to add on to that, we both are the core inventors of the technology. So it's new innovation. Yeah.
So like, how do you work with the widespread domain scientists in the Fee Factory as mentioned?
So we are always driven, we are influenced, let's say, inspired from a problem. So whenever we see a problem, we just want to jump in and solve that. That's the.
No, I just believe that a lot of people have asked me, despite doing something in medical background, my entire thing is MBBS. So like, how did you shift to paper industry kind of thing? But I believe that when you have an idea, you don't have to have a basic degree in it. You can study it and you can learn it over time. When you have an idea and you know it will work and if people will be benefited by it, you can spend some time. You can get the knowledge required about it because it's not going to take as much time. You don't have to do a PhD in paper industry to do an invention in the paper industry field. So I believe we can spend some time, gain that basic knowledge and see how our technology can be brought about into the market.
So how do you relate with the significance of the scientists or the researchers present in Fee Factory?
See, basically, Fee Factory is the let's say coalition of scientists. So we are like 100% of it.
So we actually nicknamed ourselves as the Fee Society. It's a secret society of scientists. So yeah, that's how we started.
Yeah, so we were talking about the significance of the scientists.
What I was saying is we are actually a coalition of scientists. So we are 100% scientists. We have some let's say commercial interests, and we also have some small business acumen in us. That is the reason why we are able to create commercially viable technologies rather than doing some, random technology. Because we always believe that, even if it is Rolls Royce and kept in a garage, it is useless. So we kind of want to create Ferraris which run on the road. So
our products are not just environmentally sustainable; they're economically sustainable. If you see, most of the startups are like not profit driven,
not so
profitable. So they depend on funding for day-to-day activities and all. So from the very beginning, when we have designed this product, we worked on the unit economics. We wanted the company to be profitable right from the day one. So that's how we started, and till now, thank you God that we didn't depend on the funding.
Yeah, so we are 100% scientists. We all are 100% scientists. We are science-oriented guys.
So like from the research, we have come to know like that you've worked with few brands. So how can you relate in packing, like development, and mention those brands which you have worked with?
Unfortunately, we are all under confidentiality agreement, so I cannot directly reveal the name of the clients that we have. But I assure you, we have 28 plus clients, and all of these guys are like two good big corporates. And in fact, I should tell you this, that the reception from these guys is like phenomenal. They never saw us like a small startup coming from a smaller city like Hyderabad, but they gave us a very good, warm welcome into the society, not just in the country, but also globally. So that is one of the key factors why we are able to succeed very quickly in our company.
So like, how do you address a response, like give a response to any of the clients or any of their inquiries, like during the process of this work?
I always feel that it should be a client-related or customer-oriented research or work or whatever it is. So if the offering is not to the likes of the client, I don't think it makes any sense.
Yeah, obviously.
So we kind of sit with our client. We try to understand their current modus operandi, and then we try to know the stimulus what they are requiring in their applications, and that's how we develop our products. That's where we are. So we definitely take the client requirement and we make them a part of our job. When we are developing. So we totally adopt the agile methodology in developing this.
So do you think in coming time, like the technology, the way the science is taking a turn towards like what you guys are doing, do you think it's going to make a huge change in the world of science?
It's the responsibility of every scientist to make sure that the technology or product, whichever he is making, should reach the people, should reach the right audience. If you're, for example, a scientist working for a company doesn't have a say on how the product will be released into the market and what the financials will be. For example, there is some kind of medication which is produced at so and so price, but it is sold at 10 times or what it is produced. I'm not saying it's horrible to send it 10 times, but you could sell it at 2 times for people who cannot afford it. Even 2 times still gives you a profit, some kind of profit.
Yeah, especially when the inventor wants it to be at a lower cost.
Because the very basic reason behind a scientist making a product is he wants people to use it. People should be benefited by that product or technology. So we believe all the essential technologies like medical technologies or sanitation technologies, all these technologies should reach people. There shouldn't be any economic barriers in accessing them. I feel that. So it's the responsibility of a scientist to make sure the technologies reach the right audience. So I think every scientist should become an entrepreneur by the products they make.
We are kind of setting us an example. I hope a lot of people will follow us.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Sure. I think you guys are doing a really great job. This world of technology, like where students are like, no, it's about science and technology. But seriously, what you guys are doing is really interesting and which is also eco-friendly kind of thing as well. So at the end, would you like to give your reviews or comment on My Startup TV and your experience with it?
Really like the idea of connecting with startups, and especially I think in this generation is absolutely necessary because it's kind of interacting and it's kind of giving self confidence to each other. So that's one beautiful thing that you guys are doing.
Because big media channels like BBC, Bloomberg are not accessible to small startups. Yeah. So yes, we should have our own TV. So My Startup TV, I think.
Yeah, and it should also start from somewhere, right? So if we have a recognition or a discussion like this, a small outreach that itself is projecting us in the right direction. So it's a very good idea that you guys are doing. And in fact, if there's anything that we can do on the technology perspective, we are always happy on behalf of eFactory to help you out.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us for today.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.